Today, we hear about the upcoming Fall Spiritual Life Week, get a Warrior Sports Zone update, learn about some happenings around campus, and take a moment to honor a WAT alum that showed bravery and grit on this day 23 years ago. This is WATv News.
Good morning, Wheaton Academy. I'm Allison Brannicky, and I'm joined here with my co-anchor, Ari Avila. Today is September 11th, and this is our first episode of the year, coming to you from the new Studio 22. Ari, how are you liking the new studio?
I love it. I feel like I'm in a real news studio.
Yeah. For those of you that can't see, we have 3 cameras going on right now. But before we get into our first segment, we want to take a moment to honor Wheaton Academy's alum, Todd Beamer, for his bravery that he showed on September 11th. Todd Beamer, class of '87, was aboard hijacked Flight 93 that was headed for the White House. Once they learned about the attacks on the World Trade Center, Todd cued the other passengers to help defend the plane against hijackers with his now well-known phrase, "Let's roll." Ultimately, the plane tragically went down in Pennsylvania, but Todd's bravery is always remembered. Yesterday, we held our Todd Beamer benefit golf outing, where we remember his legacy. The Beamer family endorses this as a proper way to honor Todd and his life, as well as use this opportunity to build the Wheaton Academy Scholarship Program. We hope as you go about your day, you're inspired by Todd and his story and are encouraged to extend extra kindness and love to each other today.
Thank you, Allison. For our first segment, we are bringing you all the information you need to know about our upcoming Fall Spiritual Life Week. Sam Gates sat down with Ella and Mr. Hogan to hear from them about the upcoming week. Take a look.
Hi, welcome to WATv. I'm your host, Sam Gates. I'm here today with Ella and Brian Hogan. We're going to be talking about Fall Spiritual Life Week. So, last year's Spiritual Life Week, I just felt extremely empowered, and I felt like Spiritual Life Week was amazing in just how it played a role in our community and strengthened us as a body. So, Ella, how has Spiritual Life Week impacted you?
I think I would say what you said a lot of. It's just a really cool opportunity to see the school body grow closer together, and I think that there's such an interesting intentionality that WA has on setting aside a whole week just to focus on, chapels or just growing closer to the Lord. And I think that the intentionality that you see there is something that you don't see in a lot of other schools.
Yeah.
And I think the topics that are brought up in chapel, I've had discussions about them in class, and I think because there's so many different types of churches represented in the student body, I think that it's a really good opportunity to hear everyone else's thoughts and just the way that other people think, different from, my own. And then also I love the worship nights. I think first of all, there's just such a fun thing to, have a guest team come in and they lead with their own style. They bring their own music, and I think that that's a lot of fun for me. But I also think that it's just such a vivid image of how Spiritual Life Week brings together people. Because it's hosted in the White Chapel, it's such a smaller setting than the FAC. You can really see everyone just come together because of the small space, and I really love it because it's a chance for me to grow closer to, my friends, my classmates, but also to God. And there's something that I find really cool about being able to see other people doing it in such a small setting, just feel so close to everyone else.
Yeah, that's a great thing to look forward to. So, Mr. Hogan, what can you tell us to expect from this up-and-coming Spiritual Life Week?
Fall Spiritual Life Week it's relatively new to Wheaton Academy. Last year was the first time we did a Fall Spiritual Life Week, and I know Spiritual Life Week is such an important time in the life of our school. The reality is this: shouldn't every week be Spiritual Life Week?
Oh, yeah.
We're constantly trying to grow and to be formed in the image of Christ. That's what we're trying to do. But these weeks are just intentional times for us to really to focus and to drill down on some particular topics. This Fall Spiritual Life Week is going to look a little bit different than it did last year, just with a later start to school and with homecoming being a little bit earlier. It's going to be just a kind of a little bit of a different look. Our Bible department will be speaking this first sub-theme of chapels created in the beginning, and it will culminate the week of Spiritual Life Week. So we'll be talking about the days of creation and how we're created in the image of God and what that means for us to live that out. So that's kind of some of the content that we'll be doing. But some events that we can be thinking about, as Ella mentioned, we have a worship night that will be hosted on Wednesday night. On Friday morning, we're actually doing "See You at the Pole." I don't know how everybody's familiar with that. It's a nationwide emphasis where students gather around the flagpole at their school and pray for their school. We're actually going to do that on Friday of Spiritual Life Week this year, which will be a really cool opportunity to come together as a community and pray together. Earlier on in the week and then throughout the week, we'll have some prayer circles, which will be kind of lunches in different classrooms. Our Project Lead Spiritual Life team will be leading those during lunches, and particularly on Monday during that week. So the emphasis of the week will just be for us to really focus on what it means to live out the image of God, and for us to come together as individuals to deepen that, but then as a community to deepen that as well. So it's exciting. I love when we get to give that emphasis. So looking forward to it.
Sweet. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Sam, your host, and this is WATv. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Sam, Ella, and Mr. Hogan. We are really looking forward to what this week holds for the student body. Now, let's get you caught up on a few announcements. Speaking of chapel, this Friday's chapel speaker will be Mr. Vandervelde, and next Tuesday, Mr. Thornton will speak in chapel. Are you looking for a creative outlet? Do you want to learn more about producing video content? Are you interested in film and storytelling? The Creative Cave in Studio 22 is the place for you. The Video Club is back. Join Mr. Piercy today at lunch in the Studio 22 classroom for more information. All students are welcome. No prior experience is necessary.
As the weather cools down and scarves, hoodies, and sweaters start to make an appearance, you also know that it's that time of the year. Guys Campout is around the corner. If you are interested in going to Guys Campout, attend an information meeting today at lunch in Mr. McCallum's room. His room is in the lower level of the Fine Arts Center, room 1017.
Now, for all your sports updates, we turn to Caleb at the sports desk for a Warrior Sports Zone update.
Thank you, Allison and Ari. What's up, Warriors? This is your host, Caleb Diego, with the latest updates on Warrior sports. Starting off with boys golf, our guys are off to a 2-0 start in conference play, beating Bishop Mac 150 to 212 and Aurora Christian 150 to 241. Today, they face off against Timothy Christian at Klein Creek. Sophomore Owen Canaris and freshman Ben Patel have been leading the team with low scores, while newly appointed captains Eddie Dykema and Cooper Miller bring a high level of leadership and maturity to the team. Moving on to club teams, if you practice or participate on a club team, you are invited to attend the sectional swim meet with Mr. Mack. Ladies would need to register this week. If you would like to go, please contact Mr. Mack if you are interested in participating. His classroom is on the second floor of the science wing, room 226, or you can email him as well. This past Saturday, boys cross country team competed at Harvest. The varsity boys finished in second place behind a solid state qualifying Montini team, and JV boys finished third overall. The varsity boys were led by Michael Ocheski, who finished sixth place with an overall time of 17:38. Toby Morden earned a seventh place finish, and Miguel Boney finished ninth place overall. Luke Osterholm finished fourth on the team, with all four athletes breaking 18 minutes for the 5K. On the JV level, sophomore Will Heiderman set the pace and finished 14th place, followed closely by Max Ayala in 24th place. At the same invite, the girls cross country finished in second place. Eddie Painter and Sydney Becker finished in the top 10. Congratulations to our cross country team. Girls volleyball hosted their WA invite on Saturday and came away with 2 matches wins against Plainfield North and St. Lawrence. The girls are back in action this Thursday at home against Rosary High School at 5:30 p.m. Head to the Warrior Dome to cheer on your girls' volleyball team. Our football team had a strong win on last Friday against St. Charles East with a score of 28-17. Our boys are home again this Friday against Chicago Christian. Maroon Platoon informed us that the theme that night is Blackout. Let's show up strong for our Warriors. Lastly, we finish up with boys soccer. They were on the road this weekend in Michigan and come home with victories over University of Chicago with a score of 5-0 and a 4-0 win over North Point Christian. That will do it for your sports updates. Now I will pass it back to Allison and Ari.
Thanks, Caleb, for those sports updates. Allison, are you coming to any of the sports games this weekend?
Yeah, a little cheer shout out for Friday's game. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure to support your Warrior sports teams, and as always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube. From WATv News, this is Allison, Ari, and Caleb signing out.